So welcome to our experiment to determine what the constant, or b, does in the role of the constant in our linear equation y equals mx plus b. So the first thing we're going to do is to calculate and write the coordinates of the x and the y intercepts, and then we will take a look. So we'll put 0 in place of y, and we'll isolate x. And so the x-intercept of that line is -1/4. We can picture that, right? So the y-intercept will be y equals 4 times 0 plus 1. So y equals 1. Okay, moving on to the next one. 0 equals -3x minus 4. So we'll put 0 in place of x. And the last one, we'll do our fraction one here. So of course we already know that the m is the slope, and the slope tells us how steep it is and what direction it's going. So I think what I'll do is I'll multiply both sides by -2, and that way I'll take care of that part there. So now I've got my x-intercept. Okay, so all right, so let's look here. Here's our constant. Here's our x-intercept and our y-intercept, okay? They look to be the same. Let's go back over here. Yep. Seems to me that our constant looks to be one of our intercepts, and it matches over here. So what does that constant do? Right? B is the y-intercept. So that tells us where the line crosses the y-axis. B is the y-intercept of the line. So now what we need to do, now you have to be careful here, because remember, I'm not asking for the slope, I'm asking for the coordinates of the y-intercept. So we know that's our constant. Now our constant's important, right? Because before we calculated it, but we didn't really deal with it because we were interested in the numerical coefficient. So first thing you need to do is write the equation in y equals mx plus b, and then identify the coordinates of the y-intercept. So this one, right, is already in y equals mx plus b. What's our constant here, right? If there's nothing there, it's understood to be a 0, which means that this line will pass through the origin. Okay, I'm just going to move over here now. So we need to isolate y, which we've done many times. Okay, not interested in the slope, interested in the y-intercept. I'll go this way, -2y, divide everything by -2. Okay, and so this line will cross the y-axis at -7/2. So I have this one here twice, because sometimes I do it twice. So I think I've talked already about how we can do this. I think students find it easiest if they just multiply each term by the common denominator. Whoops. There we go. I'll just put my coordinates here. The other way to do that, though, would be, of course, to divide everything by 1/4, right? And we know when we take 1 divided by 1/4, when we're dividing fractions, right, it's 1 times and then write the reciprocal. So we get the same thing, of course, but then we have to do it to the constant as well. So it's entirely up to you which one you want to do. Then this one, we'll divide everything by -3. So y equals -2/3, leaving the negative sign in the numerator. And our y-intercept is 10/3. And that's the end.